What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Umair, and today we have a bougie reel review. I'll give you a hint. It is a Daiwa reel. But before we get into that, guys, just a couple quick housekeeping tips. I have an Instagram, so please check it out. It's Jadu Basin. Also TikTok, same name, Jadu Basin. Really appreciate if you guys go show some support on those platforms as well. I just post things here and there when I'm bored, especially in the off season right now. I mean, now it's officially the off season here in Illinois and southern Wisconsin area. I mean, air temps are in the 20s right now. I mean, water's gonna start freezing up pretty soon. I know we got in snow once already, so it's gonna be ice out pretty soon. Anyways, the point of this video is to actually talk about this incredible, that's an understatement, Daiwa Exist LT 3000H. Man, I love this reel. I mean, how could you not, right? Now, before we begin, let's just get the elephant out of the room. This reel retails for around $850 US. That's insane. I could never come to purchasing something that expensive to catch some green fish or brown fish. I actually bought this last year, towards the end of the season in the fall. I'm not gonna say who I got it from, but I got a incredible deal, like just absurdly good deal. I mean, I'm not even gonna say, but let's just say I got a really good deal on it and leave it at that. But yeah, it does retail for $850. But right now, as you guys know in the US, it's Black Friday. You're gonna find deals all around. I know Tackle Bro is actually offering 25% off Daiwa rods and reels right now. Not sure if the Exist is on sale. I think Omnia had a 20% thing going on. I don't know if it's still there at the time of this video releasing, but look around. And you know, guys, you don't have to buy it brand new, right? Like there's places you can get it online, on online forums, Facebook Marketplace. Do your research. Obviously, don't be dumb and just not do any research and not look at pictures and videos of the reel. Obviously, if you're putting this much money into something, you want to make sure you're getting what you expect. But hopefully after watching this video, you guys will kind of have some more insight into the reel itself. So yeah, I guess that's it for the elephant in the room. Anyways, let's get into the cosmetics of this thing, right? So right out the gate, I was a little bit worried, right, about this. And I know it's the monocoque body, and we'll go through the specs in a bit, but I was really worried about the paint job, right? Because let me just tell you why. I have a Zillion, right, the Zillion. And I know this is not the monocoque body, but I don't know why. When I just saw this Exist online, I was like, oh my God, please do not scratch it. Because the thing with the Exist, I love, this is one of my favorite bait casting reels on the market. This in the Bantam, I think if I just had a whole fleet of these, I'd be fine. I'd be fine for the rest of my life, right? But as you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but it's just scuffed up. I mean, I guess it's not terrible, but I don't know. I like keeping my stuff in tip-top condition. I mean, I'm always servicing my reels at the end of the season, just regular oiling and greasing when it needs to, you know, obviously the yearly maintenance on it. And yeah, that's the one con I had about the Zillion. But needless to say, this does not have the issue with the paint because it is the full monocoque body. I will say though, when you do, if you're taking a bunch of rods and reels out at the same time, you're gonna end up knocking, you know, some of your stuff into each other, and you can't really see it that well on camera maybe, but it gets a little bit scratched up. But again, I mean, it's basically a mirror almost. Like I could see my reflection in this. It's just so clean looking. I know Punch Fishing, I watch his stuff a lot. Check his channel out. He's got some great content. He said it looks like a robot, and I totally agree with him. I mean, just look at this thing. It's just completely chromed out. Obviously made in Japan, right? But yeah, I mean, this thing is just insane. And to go with that, obviously, if you're getting such a crazy reel, right, you expect some crazy packaging with it, right? You know what's funny about that? In the US, they only give you a box like any other reel, but the one thing wow, here's a little reel cover, which is cool, right? I appreciate reel covers, and this one's actually really nice. Put that on for a second. It just comes, just your standard reel case, but it also has a separate area for the handle, so you just take the handle off and you just pop that in there, pop the reel in there. You can keep it nice and safe, nice and snug. But yeah, always protection is really important. Just want to let you guys know that. But anyways, I actually got this one in a box, and it's because place I got it from, they actually gave it to me in this beautiful box. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, I'm not gonna open it up, but it was basically like opening up a Rolex. Like, I remember I got this in the mail. I was like, this is a pretty big package for real. And I mean, it just basically, this just is the cover on top of it. It's got some specs in the back, which we'll go through. But man, unboxing, this was like unboxing a Rolex. It was beautiful when it came in. It has like some nice styrofoam and just sat perfectly inside. Every little piece was meticulously placed. Beautiful, right? So I appreciate that. I really wish that was more common. A lot of people, they'll say, oh, you know, in the US, we just throw these boxes out. Absolutely not. I love these boxes. I wish more people did this, especially my high-end stuff. I mean, I just got the Twin Power you guys saw in the previous video. I wish that came in a box like this. This is phenomenal. Anyways, enough of that rant. I guess let's just get into the specs of the reel, right? So I'm just gonna read some specs off of the box here. Again, I'm not like a Daiwa expert, Shimano expert, or anything. I'm just an enthusiast that just really has a passion for this high-end gear, finding good deals, and just any bougie way to catch bass, right? So, as I said, this is the Exist LT 3000H, which means the gear ratio is 5.7 to 1. So it's not the fastest one, but there's no issue. I have no issues picking up line with this. And then it's got the 12 ball bearings. Now, okay, I'm just gonna run through all this crap, right? So they said they got the air drive rotor, the air drive bail, the air drive spool, the air drive shaft. It's mag sealed, monocoque body, and the ATD Type L. I mean, that's all some marketing BS, right? Anyways, what they're saying is it's obviously redesigned. If you look at videos online, one of the cool features, a couple actually, so let's start out with the bail, right? If you can see, the bail is slightly tilted down. Now, when I first saw that, I was like, oh my God, is this like a defect or what? But it's actually meant to be that way because apparently Daiwa says that it catches your line better so that you have better line placement on the spool when you're reeling it back in. I don't know how true that is, because if you look at Shimano's, right? Shimano, this is the Twin Power from the previous video. Look at this, right? This is slightly angled up. So how are they both gonna claim that one has better line placement than the other when they're like bent, I guess, quote unquote, in opposite directions? Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know how true that is. But another thing I did appreciate on this that I haven't had to really use yet is down here, I don't know if you can tell, because of the, what do you call it? The spool on here, so the shape of it, right? It basically has a lip on the bottom. I don't know if you can see. I'm gonna try seeing. Oh yeah, right there. You can kind of see at the edge here. You see how there's like this lip right here? That's basically meant, and what Daiwa says is that anytime you're casting into the wind, or sometimes when you're reeling, right, really fast, you're picking up line, a lot of times your line's gonna loop out and get, you know, sometimes you get wind knots, but in order to prevent the line from getting underneath the spool, it basically will catch on this lip instead, so you don't have to worry about undoing your spool and going underneath, taking the line out, putting your spool back on, doing all that, dealing with the line tangle. It catches it. Fortunately, I haven't had that issue. I'm pretty good about you know, keeping my line managed well, especially when I'm on the water. You know, especially I'm a tournament fisher, so you know, being as efficient as possible is really important to me. And obviously, having a wind knot or something like that, that's going to cause disruption in my day. So that's probably not the best thing to happen. Anyways, oh yeah, and let's just to add onto specs a little bit. I got a food scale here, but I'll tell you guys how much it weighs zeroed out. And by the way, this has, I don't consider this a full spool. I've tied a bunch of FG knots throughout the season. It's kind of reduced the amount of line I have, but anyway, some consider it a full spool. This is a 10-pound Suffix 832. This is a High-Vis green braid. I love this stuff. I've used it for a little over 2 seasons now, maybe 3 seasons, and yeah, I have no complaints whatsoever for my finesse applications. So anyways, okay, let's just put this on the scale. It's right around in between 6.8, 6.7. So let's just say 6.75 ounces, right? If you want to see that in grams, zero that out. It's about 190 grams for those that like to measure things in grams. So obviously it is a very, very lightweight reel. And just listen to that drag, by the way. It just sounds beautiful. I'll just compare. This is the Twin Power drag. Let me just loosen this up to make it easier to hear. The twin power is a little bit of like a deeper tinging, if you want to call it. And then let me show you what this one sounds like again. It's a little bit more high pitched. Anyways, it sounds beautiful. When a fish is pulling on drag on this thing, you just literally want to go like that and just let it run. I mean, it just sounds beautiful when you're on the water, man. Especially fighting smallmouth, incredible. Obviously the drag is unparalleled. I mean, I can't even compare this to anything. Honestly, when you're in that 250 range now, any reel is gonna have pretty good drag between the Shimanos and Daiwas. I would not hesitate buying any of them. I love the Vanford series now. That drag has always been super reliable for me, even with smallmouth, even when they surge right at the boat. I've had no issues with that at all. So I guess let's just go into some applications that I use this for, right? So I've used this was in my hand. Whenever I'm throwing a spinning outfit, this was in my hand, I'd say 80 to 90%, 80 to 90% of the time I was on the water this year. I mean, I got really intimate with this reel. But yeah, I mean, I use this, so start out. I used this in the beginning of the season. When I first got it, I was trying to figure out if it was more of a finesse geared reel or a power reel, right? And what I mean by that is when you're looking at the Shimano stuff, for example, like the twin power, right? This is definitely more in their power line. Why do I keep forgetting the name of it? But basically, it's just the reels with the, they're just a little bit more stronger. I can't remember all the marketing crap they say for this, but anyways, it's just a little bit stronger. This is a little heavier too. Like if I weigh this, here, let me just get it back on ounces. If I weigh this, this guy is about 8 ounces, right? And this is, what do we say, 6.75. So it's a little bit over an ounce and a quarter heavier. But there's a reason for that, right? Like this, I would use primarily for like skipping docks and like wacky rigs and stuff, or like shaky head stuff where I need a little bit of oomph, you know, in the reel to kind of get, and especially I got the high gear ratio. Anyways, I really wanted to experiment and put this reel through the test throughout the season. So I started the season out actually throwing it on the NRX Plus, and this is the 852. I know it's backwards, but I'll still show you. It's the 852S, and this is probably my favorite rod just for shallow water finesse fishing. I mean, this is like the cream of the crop in my opinion. Already, for those of you that know the Loomis brand, the NRXs are just incredibly light, incredibly sensitive. But anyways, here, I'll show you where the balance point is on the reel. I should probably do this with my other hand. Here, so balance-wise, right? Lock this up. Look, I mean, look at it. I'm not even doing anything. It's moving on its own. Balance-wise, it balances right at the top of the reel seat. So right where that blue line is, I'm trying to scratch the wall, right where this first blue line is, that's where the balance point is. And that's great for me because some people, they like to grip it in between their hands, so in between their ring finger and middle finger, like that. That's totally fine too, but to me, I like having as much contact with the blank as I can. I'm a pinky gripper, so when I put my finger up there, it's just so freaking light, man. I mean, it's insane how light it feels like there's nothing in your hand, even when and that's another thing, speaking of air, obviously they market all this stuff with air drive. I understand why they're calling it air. I mean, even when you're rotating this, it feels like you can't feel anything. Like it's just so smooth. You don't feel any gears, nothing. It's just totally smooth. I mean, right out the package, I didn't have to do any, I didn't have to check the grease or oil. I mean, it was just totally smooth. Everything was working great. But anyways, yeah. That's what I started the season with. I was using for wacky rigs and shaky heads. So I was kind of like, a lot of times like more shorter, accurate casts underneath docks, or, you know, I actually threw this a lot. I won a tournament fishing in lily pads with the wacky rig with this exact combo. And man, I was pulling those fish out of some thick lily pads. Obviously I wasn't bombing in the middle of the field, but more towards like the edges, the little, you know, pockets you see in between the lily pads right by the boat, kind of in there. And man, this performed phenomenally. I mean, the drag was on point. I didn't have to worry about, you know, when a fish is kind of like stuck in the lily pads, I was able to wrench it out a little bit. So that was really cool. I'm glad I was able to do that. I guess moving on, let's move on to what I ended up using this for majority of the season. because I really wanted to put this reel through the paces, right? I really wanted to see, if you're spending this much money, you got to do a full breakdown of it. And the rod that I actually had the Exist on for most of the season was the P5 Addermine, and this is the updated version. This was my drop shot rod. I mean, the Addermine, man, I love this rod too. All three, this one too, which I'll talk about in a bit, phenomenal rods. I'm super happy with my rod selection this year. This rod, technically it's a medium light, but you can throw like you can throw open hook drop shot, like nose hook, right? And you can also throw Texas rig drop shot on it too. I love that. I don't have to really rely on two separate loadouts for open or Texas rig, especially, you know, in southern Wisconsin lakes in the summertime when the weed lines just grow up and you got submerged vegetation everywhere you go for the most part. I mean, you kind of need that Texas rig. And you know, when I'm fishing as a co-angler, I rely heavily on the drop shot, especially this season. I caught so many fish off of that. Great grass fishing rod. Even that, all these are great grass fishing rods. Super sensitive. I think Punch Fishing on his channel, he said the previous generation of the Addermine was even more sensitive. But I honestly, I can't. How much more sensitive you're gonna get, right? Like, this is already so sensitive. Obviously, I would love to feel how the old one felt. I'm not gonna pick it up though, but man, I have nothing but good things to say about this. I guess there is one. If I do have to say one bad thing, sorry. The butt section of this, I don't know why, it feels really short to me, right? When I have this in my hand, and here, before I do that, let me just put this on here, right? Get these guys back together. Okay, so let's just look at the balance. So the balance is literally right at the top of the reel seat, right there. I mean, it's just phenomenal. For me, it's pinky gripper. Even if you have, if you in the middle of middle finger and ring, if you're gripping it like that, it's great too. But man, having all that exposed blank right at my fingertips, that's awesome. I love that, right? But anyways, as I was saying, the one con I had about the Addermine is that the rod handle, the butt section of it, man, I mean, it's short. I don't know how to explain it. It's like when you go to cast, without breaking rod tips here, when you go to cast this thing, sometimes I grab it, but I'm grabbing it like down here. Like, see, it's here. I'm grabbing it down here sometimes because I forget how short the handle is down here. Obviously, over time, you just get used to it. But a lot of times when I'm, you know, especially if we're fishing for smallmouth and, you know, we're looking for like that, those areas where the grass meets rock and stuff like that, you're a little bit deeper, you're kind of out in the open water, you're trying to make those long casts, and it's weird. When you go to lope on a cast, I kind of forget, and I end up like holding it at the very edge here and I cast it. So I just kind of get used to it, especially when you're switching between different rods. I don't have that issue with any of my NRXs, but minor issue. Obviously, it's something that I got over earlier on, but yeah, I love this rod. Anyways, we can go through these rods in other videos, but if you're curious also for drop shots, this is a lifesaver. This is by AccuCull. It's actually like a drop shot keeper, so you just take your drop shot weight and you just put it through there and it holds it while the line is taut, and your drop shot is hanging wherever over here, and you don't have to worry about wrapping around or getting it tangled up or line fraying from all that, so super helpful. But yeah, anyways, I threw drop shot on this rod most of the season, and man, let me tell you, like I was saying earlier, the drag did not disappoint. I mean, especially when you're out there, you're fighting smallmouth. I know I had a couple tournaments where we were fishing for smallmouth, right? And man, this reel just silky smooth. I cannot say enough good. This is one of the best drags on the market. You can't even argue about that. I would love for someone to challenge me and say, oh, this is a better drag. You're not competing with this, I'm sorry. Yeah, dude, I mean, this is just crazy, especially when they're surging down at the boat, man. How many times have a smallmouth surged at the bottom of your boat? Those of you guys that fish for the brown fish, you guys know that, right? When it comes down to it, right at the very end, that's when they want to take off, right? So having that really good drag is really important. And that's also kind of why I feel like, for me, between the more power finesse techniques, I'd say, and the more finessey finesse techniques, if that makes sense, I would prefer this for things that I need a lot more drag, right? I need a lot more smoother drag. Not that any of my other reels don't have smooth drag. If I just have to put one reel out of all of them that I own, this is the one. So, you know, when I'm fishing for smallmouth, right? When I'm fishing out in open water, I don't think I really need this for shallow finesse fishing, right? That's why I have the new twin power, right? This guy is heavy duty. I mean, this is gonna be great for picking up line and, you know, making those bomb casts too when I need to. I mean, it's great, right? I can just skip things underneath docks. This is gonna be more for like the open water, like I said. You need that drag. You're just kind of detecting bites out there. You're just lifting up and then you're just kind of relying on that drag to do half the fight for you. So, yeah, that's basically what I used this setup for. And then, now, so going off of that, so that's basically what I ran the entire season this year. Let's put this down without scratching it. Going to next season. Now, I really was thinking about this. Basically, I ran through what I just told you guys in my head. You know, do I want something for more shallow water fishing? Do I want something more deep water fishing? You know, what is this reel going to be dedicated for, right? Obviously, I can switch throughout, but I have my other reels, right? I even have the Vanford. I love the Vanford, man. I mean, if you had to buy one reel in that $200 to $300 price range, by far, best bang for your buck right there. I know a lot of people on YouTube would agree with me too on that. But yeah, anyways, like I said, I got the twin power. So the twin power is gonna be going on the 852S for my shallow water fishing. I'm gonna probably put the Vanford, the new one, the FA, on the Addermine. And then, and let me just add on to that. So I recently picked up this rod because after determining one weakness, not weakness, but one thing I was kind of lacking was I wanted something that was just kind of dedicated for smallmouth. I fish a lot of smallmouth lakes. I mean, a lot of the southern Wisconsin lakes are great largemouth fisheries, but there's times when there's days when the smallmouth bite is just on and you just want you don't want to have to worry about having multiple different stuff. Just one thing, don't have to worry about the rod, don't have to worry about the reel, just everything is just in tune. Because those smallmouth bites are really finicky sometimes, right? So because of that, I picked up another NRX Plus. This is the, oops, where'd it go? It's backwards. 902, and this is the spin jig rod, right? So the 902, what's cool about this is it's just got more bend in it. It keeps this fish pin really well, and it's 7'6". So when I'm out in open water, this is gonna be great. Sorry, I'm just making sure I don't scratch any of the guides on this, hitting the wall. But yeah, let me just put this onto without dropping it. That would be nice, right? But yeah, I picked this up for a great deal. Again, guys, if you guys are looking to buy anything right now, I'd say this is probably one of the best times of the year. Obviously with Black Friday, even the used market, you're gonna find a lot of good stuff. But yeah, this is gonna be my setup going to next season. Smallmouth, even largemouth, right? Like when I'm open water fishing, I just want a deeper water rod. So, you know, I'm gonna be throwing, you know, your finesse swim baits, especially Okashira heads, right? Your hair jigs. I'm gonna try. I didn't want to buy a dedicated mid-strolling rod, but this will do great for mid-strolling rod. I did want a dice rod, like a drop shot for the OSP dice. I was thinking picking up a pack of those, or maybe making my own. I've seen a bunch of videos on making them, but you know, just an open hook rod basically. Or anything with small treble hooks, a little BFS stuff, right? Like I said, hair jig, you know, just really small things. Obviously, you want the bougiest setup for the really small things, right? But yeah, no, I'm gonna have a blast with this. I already know this is gonna be fun. I really like the action on it. I can't really show you guys, but it's just super it's really it's got a good soft tip on here. I mean, it bends all the way through. And you know, I'll do a review on this later. In the season. Sorry. I'll do a review on this later in the season once I get some more time on the water with it. But yeah, yeah, that's it. As far as the loadouts I ran on it, sorry about that. Let me put this down without scratching it up. Anyways, at the end of the day, the question is, do I recommend this rod? Do I recommend this reel? If you're a bougie person and you just want the best of the best, 150% yes. If you're just a guy that just wants some really good tackle, something that's reliable and dependable, don't spend the money on this, right? I mean, unless you find a really good deal and you just absolutely want the best of the best, I would never pay full retail on this, right? Again, you got Black Friday deals going on right now. You got online forums, Facebook Marketplace. You can find one of these at a really good price that, you know, fits within your budget, go for it. But yeah, guys, that's basically my impressions of the The Daiwa Exist, again, the LT3000H, phenomenal reel. I am very, very happy I picked it up. This is probably my favorite reel in the lineup. I'm really curious to see how the Twin Power performs next season. But yeah, overall, phenomenal reel. I'm really looking forward to catching a lot more fish on it, especially smallmouth now, right? Kind of hoping to focus more on that too. Anyways, guys, I'm just gonna keep posting content like this hopefully throughout the winter. Just a bunch of rods. Obviously, you can see I have a bunch more stuff back here, and I got more stuff over there in the other room that I got to review. So just stay tuned for that. If you like that stuff, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, comment down below what else you guys want to see. Again, I'm just an enthusiast. I'm not sponsored by anyone. This is just kind of my impressions as I go throughout my bass fishing career. It's just something I'm really passionate about, and it's just, I can't get enough of it, right? So anyways, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all you guys. Hey, and also we hit 100 subscribers recently. That's awesome. Thank you so much, guys. So anyways, I can't stop gushing about this reel. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.